Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry I haven't made a video in a while. I've been a little bit distracted with some other stuff, but I thought I might take some time out today to make a video on security, because that seems to be kind of a big topic for everyone. I get a lot of questions and stuff about it, and I know I certainly had questions about it when I was getting into the van life. So yeah, I thought I'd just give you guys some tips on how you can make the whole thing a little bit more secure, I guess. Make it harder for people to steal or break into the van, and just give you a bit more peace of mind. So things you can do to make the van harder to steal. I mean, obviously you would want to have some sort of alarm and immobilizer, not just an alarm, because obviously sometimes people ignore alarms. You know, you can have an alarm going off for 10 minutes and no one will even react, because people kind of get used to it. But it is still useful because it does draw people's attention to the van. So if there's people around, they're going to look. But I would also have an immobilizer system, so that it not only sounds an alarm, but it also cuts off the vehicle so that you can't hotwire it or start it that way. So an alarm with an immobilizer is kind of a big deal. I would also look into having a kill switch that you can hide somewhere on the car, somewhere unique and specific to your car. You can get really creative with how you hide them, and it makes it very difficult for people to steal the vehicle. Also, you can I've got a club lock, so like a steering lock. They're not the most secure things, but my opinion on the whole thing is to make it as inconvenient as possible. Just make it, just everything that you can do it, so that it takes too much time. And to be honest with you, my van's not really worth that much anyway, but it would be very inconvenient for it to go missing. So I make it as inconvenient as possible for anyone that wants to steal it. So I've got my alarm immobilizer. Like I said, you can have a kill switch hidden somewhere. Get a club lock for the steering. Obviously where you park it is kind of a big deal too, so you don't want to be parking somewhere that doesn't feel right. I often go with my gut on that one. Park somewhere that's safe and that, you know, there's people around, so that if someone does try to steal it, there's going to be people to witness it. A lot of the times when things get broken into or stolen, it's because they've been parked somewhere that is just like, you know, an industrial estate on a weekend or something that is closed. I had a friend whose van got broken into because he left his van in an industrial estate over the weekend, which is just asking for it really, because everyone knows that there's no one working on a weekend, and if there's a van parked there, it most likely has tools and things like that of value in there. So yeah, that's what happened. So park it somewhere that feels right. Always go with your gut on this. It very rarely leads me astray. So what have we got so far? Alarm, immobilizer, kill switch, club lock, park it somewhere safe. Have something in the van that you can lock as well, so that if you need to put anything of any value, like a camera or something somewhere, you've got somewhere that you can lock it up, so that if they do get into the van and the alarm's going off, they still have to get through another layer of security. Again, yes, they can get through anything, but it's just a matter of making it as inconvenient as possible and making it take them as much time as possible. So like, you know, I've got my locking drawers. I don't really keep anything valuable. That's kind of another tip that I was going to get to, is just don't leave valuable items in the van in the first place. Which isn't too hard to do, because part of this lifestyle is being minimalist, so it's not owning much stuff. So, you know, for example, I don't use a special camera to make these videos. I use my phone, and when I leave the van, my phone's in my pocket, so there's no camera to leave behind to get stolen. Things like that. So just be careful what you leave out. Don't leave anything visible if you are going to leave anything in the van. Some other things that you can do: you can remove fuses that are, you know, fuses to important things like ignition and things like that. You can remove the fuse. You can even replace it with a fake fuse if you want to do that. It depends, you know, how long you're going to leave it somewhere. I mean, if I was going to park my van somewhere for a long period of time, I would probably do a lot of these things all together. But you know, if you're just nipping into the shops, then a few of them is going to be sufficient. Yeah, so there's kind of some security tips. You can get things like GPS trackers and things like that. I don't know, they work, but they can be quite inconvenient to set up from what I've seen. I haven't really looked into them too much. You can get, you know, things like security cameras and that. Because it's a van and you've got auxiliary power, you could set up a full security system if you wanted to. I have seen some vans with cameras all the way around. I can't remember whose channel it was, but someone had reversing cameras set up all the way around the van. I don't know if it was recording, but you could set it up to record. So, I mean, that basically turns the van into a little fortress. Another tip, probably the last tip I can think of right now, is to, like for me, for example, I draw this curtain when I park so that people can't actually see into the van anyway. I've got pretty heavy tinting, so they can't see through the back windows, but you pull the curtain, they can't see through the front. Then they don't really know that there's anything in there that's worth even looking at. It could just be any old van, it could be empty for all they know. So just block it from sight, and that way they won't, you know, think to do it. Don't leave any like GPSs or things like that in the front. Yeah, just keep it all out of sight, out of mind. Put as many security measures as you can to make it as inconvenient as possible. And yeah, you should be all right. I mean, like I said, they can still get through anything. I mean, there's people out there that are professionals that'll, you know, if they really want to, but they're going to look at something like an old van and see how inconvenient it is. They might, you know, your average thief is an opportunist. They're just going to break in and try and steal something out of the van, or if they do steal the van, it's going to be a real hack job. But the real professionals, they're going to be looking at more valuable vehicles anyway most of the time. So yeah, just remember to make it as inconvenient as possible, and I think you'll be all right. And don't stress too much about it, because a lot of people spend all this time, you know, stressing and just thinking, oh, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? If you do that, you're never going to experience anything in life. So take a few measures just to cover your ass and just do it. You know, don't worry so much. Hope that helps, and I'll speak to you next time.